We are down a member this evening due to travel, so there will be some changes to the agenda based on Brian's absence. But to get started, the first item on our agenda is a short sign that spring must be in the offing. It is a request from Bolton Youth Baseball and Softball to hold an opening day parade on Saturday, May 16th, beginning at 12 p.m. Is there someone here from Bolton Youth Baseball?
Yeah, Mike Coviello, president of Bolton Youth Baseball.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Do you want to just take us through your proposed event?
Sure. Yeah. So we've done this in the past. On May 16th at 12 p.m., would like to run all of the players from Florence Sawyer down Mechanic Street, left onto 117, and then left onto Wattaquatic and through the parking lot into the baseball fields. It's kind of like a ceremonial thing.
Okay, great. And it looks like we have received police approval for your event. And
Yep.
Are you still waiting on your insurance certificate?
Yeah, I should get that in the next couple of weeks. They're processing it.
Okay. Bill, any questions about the event?
No questions for me.
Okay, well, we look forward to it as we do every year. We kick off for spring and summer. Is there a motion to approve the Bolton Youth Parade subject to receipt of the insurance certificate?
So moved.
And I will second that. Roll call vote. Bill?
Yes.
And I am also a yes. Mike, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. The second item on our agenda is relative to the police chief search. And we are going to hear the recommendation of finalists from our police chief search committee. Marie, did you want to go through?
Sure, I can give an overview and then I could turn things over to the chair, Matt. But for the police chief search committee, they were appointed by the select board. The chair, Matt Bossele, ran a very assertive and successful series of meetings. The committee itself was comprised of Matt Bossele, Chief Jeff Legendre, Bob Romer, Mary Chumo, representing the Public Ways Safety Committee, Select Board member Kate Bayek, and me as a non-voting member. During those 7 times, the committee met to review and update the Chief of Police job description, confirm the compensation range, then draft the job solicitation, survey Bolton's Police Department membership about climate and strategic vision, compile preliminary screening questions, review the respondents, and then conducting 3 days of preliminary screening interviews. The committee completed its review of the 15 respondents and has narrowed the field to 3 finalists. In unison, we're confident that all 3 are well qualified and capable of serving as Bolton's next chief of police. Each finalist brings strong experience and leadership, and any of them could be successful in the role. I do want to take a moment and highlight that the committee really appreciates the anonymous feedback received from the police department. It really helped mold the questions that we posed to the preliminary candidates and aided our thought process. Would you like me to announce the candidates for a finalist?
Well, Matt, would you like to do that? I see you're here.
Sure. I just want to echo Marie's statement and just thank the members of the committee. A lot of long nights, a lot of hours, but I appreciate all their work, and I think I hope we did it justice. Our finalists, the 3 candidates we recommend be advanced to the select board are Christopher L. Bradley, Senior Sergeant with the Bolton Police Department, T. Matthew Hoare, Patrol Sergeant with the Mendon Police Department, and Donald Patrick Murphy, Lieutenant with the Westwood Police Department.
Okay, thank you, Matt. And I will echo what both Marie and Matt said, which was, I'm sure that all of three candidates are excellent choices. So the next thing that we need to do is to discuss the next steps with regard to the police chief search process. And now that the recommendations have been made to the select board, it is up to us to interview the finalists and make a final decision. So what I would recommend, Bill, at this point is to ask Marie to schedule interviews for next Friday, February 13th, between noon and 3 p.m. in person at the Houghton Building. And that would give us a chance to interview each of the candidates. Prior to that, we need to come up with the questions that we are going to ask the candidates. And what I would recommend is that each member of the select board draft 4 questions and email them to Marie by Monday. And then Marie will go through those 12 questions and select 9 of them to be asked. And she will, I would ask that she would provide us with advanced copies of the questions as soon as possible, just so we can look over them in advance of Friday's interview. I understand that Brian Boyle is available for interviews at that time. Does that work for you, Bill?
It does. I am traveling starting on the 15th, so the 13th does work for me.
Okay, great. So what we would anticipate is spending approximately 45 minutes with each candidate, taking a little break in between, and then wrapping up the interviews. And Marie, I don't know if we've nailed down the details, but I think the thought had been to have a follow-up meeting for the board to make its final decision.
We could do that. It's at your discretion.
Well, I know that we have some tight time limitations on the 13th. And I don't know if we can go beyond 3 o'clock to have any discussions. So I think, Bill, are you available the following week for a final decision, even by Zoom?
Yes, I should be available. I am, give me 1 second. Let me pull my. So I'll be flying most of the afternoon on the 18th, and I'm flying out on the 15th, which is a Sunday, but Monday and Tuesday I'm wide open, and Thursday as well.
Okay, I don't think we can do Monday because it's a holiday and we cannot do a public meeting. And I don't know Brian's schedule, but maybe we can look at Tuesday, the 17th. Maybe tentatively for 11 a.m. by Zoom. For a
Yeah,
final-
that-
Would it make sense to have Friday's agenda include that discussion in case you are feeling fresh? And you can always, if you get to that point, you don't want to
Yeah.
Yeah,
take that
I
agenda
think
item.
That's a great idea, Jenny. Why don't we do that? So if we have time, we can wrap up on Friday. But then we'll tentatively also hold the 17th at 11 a.m. Does that work, Marie, for your scheduling?
Yes. Yes, for a brief meeting, yeah.
Okay.
I also wanted to raise, retired Chief Alfano is here if you have questions with regards to how to scope your questions for the finalist candidates.
Oh, thank you. Hi, Chief, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
And we should mention that Chief Alfano was very generous with his time and gave us a lot of great feedback during the preliminary search, and was of great help in helping us frame our initial questions. So do you want to offer any guidance for how to frame some of the questions that we might want to ask the finalists?
Certainly. First off, I want to echo Marie's words on what a diligent job the search committee did. Really dedicated group of individuals, very thorough and very fair. As far as the search committee questions, many of them were operationally based regarding police services in general. From the selectmen's and select person's point of view, you may want to look at framing broader scope questions, things that would say regard.
Uh-oh, you're muted.
Chief, we can't hear you.
How about now?
There you go.
Okay.
I heard broad questions. Was the last
Yes, the board should be looking at questions framed around um, items of broader scope. For example, critical events within the community that would have significant media impact, media relations, events that are both man-made and catastrophic. So you could tailor questions around the candidate's ability to deal with those. Budget questions on a broad scope, for example, financial crises or the town's financial condition, good or bad, depending on the time. The budget is critical, especially the overall budget and the high points of that. So those are the areas that I would recommend looking at primarily, rather than operational questions. And you certainly also could key in on community relations, what you expect of the chief as far as community relations, exposure, visibility, things of that nature.
Those are all great suggestions. Bill, do you have any questions that you'd like to ask in terms of from Chief Alfano?
No, I don't believe so. Not at this time.
Okay. Well, again, Chief, we really appreciate your assistance with this process. It made it a lot easier for those of us who are not terribly well steeped in the ins and outs of police operations.
Well, I'm not terribly well steeped in the ins and outs of computers, so we're even.
Well, we all made it work. So thank you for your help. And also I would like to say just a very broad thank you to everyone who applied. All of the candidates were well qualified. It was a difficult decision to narrow this down. And we appreciate everybody who took the time to put together an application, everybody who took the time to interview. And thank you to our finalists who we will see next Friday, the 13th. Marie, did you want a motion to authorize you to schedule the interviews?
That'd be great.
Okay. Is there a motion to accept the recommendations of finalists from the Police Chief Search Committee and to authorize the town administrator to schedule interviews for February 13th?
So moved.
And I will second that. Roll call vote, Bill,
Yes.
and I am also yes. All right. So the next item on our agenda is one that we're going to partially move to our next meeting, and that specifically is discussion and vote regarding the transfer station policy for issuing identifying stickers for household users and associated fees. We're going to wait until we have a full board to have that conversation and that vote. But we do have a final person who is interested in serving on the transfer station committee that the select board recently created. Mr. Ruderman, I don't believe could be with us this evening, but he has submitted an email stating his interest. He served on the ad hoc committee for the transfer station throughout the last summer and fall. He is a 40-year resident of Bolton. He also serves on the Elderly and Disabled Taxation Committee. And he is proposed for one of the seats with a term expiring on June 30th, 2028. Is there any discussion about Mr. Ruderman?
None for me.
Okay. Is there a motion to appoint Mike Ruderman to the Transfer Station Committee for the term expiring June 30th, 2028?
So moved.
I will second that. Roll call vote, Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. We are running happily ahead of schedule. So we will hold off on public comment until the scheduled time in about 20 minutes. But that brings us up to the town administrator report.
Yeah. Right. As I had said in my email when I mailed this out, I'm not going to read all of this, but let me jump first to the highlight and the unfortunate event that's been in the news this week, the library boiler. Now, come back and cover everything else. A furnace malfunction was identified on Tuesday. At that time, the DPW, the library staff, and the fire department responded quickly and worked together to safely secure the boiler unit. This is located in the old section basement of the library. Our insurer at present is aware and very responsive. The largest concern is keeping the building's pipes heated, especially as we look ahead to the weekend's weather. I want to give thanks to the library director, the DPW director, the fire chief, and their staff for their swift and coordinated response. Highlighting likewise the fire department, inclusive of the chief and call members, were immediately on site. The DPW and the library staff at the time that this was discovered safely moved and all patrons to a safe location in the building. The response on the part of the fire department in collaboration with the DPW has been great. Not only was the boiler overheating and having burned parts of it, but they coordinated their work together to safely cool it and to prevent any further damage. Our insurer has also been very responsive. The library director and the library trustees, along with staff, have been coordinating an interim plan. In this interim, I'm asking for the Bolton community's patience as some of the library programs are being rescheduled or relocated. All residents are encouraged to check the library's website for the most up-to-date information on services and alternative arrangements, as unfortunately, we're trying to keep all of the pipes at least above 53 degrees. There are multiple heaters in the building, electric heaters, so this is not the time to look at the electric usage, but the insurer is ensuring that they are correctly vented. We're trying to minimize the number of times that the doors are opening and closing. So please continue to check the boltonpubliclibrary.org site. Acknowledge that the library staff are absolutely committed to continuing to provide library services to the public, but acknowledge that the building will remain closed. The parts are on order. Under the direction of the DPW director, the expectation for a vendor is at least 2 weeks. So that's the big and unfortunate news. Other newsworthy items, a slight update to the earlier schedule for Alta. They have occupancy for 2 buildings, building 1 and 3. Building 4 will be coming on in March, and building 2, it's like a word problem, is expected in April. That well issue that have been raised will be resolved in tandem with their plans for the building 2 occupancy. Also want to say, if people remember the earlier conditions of the comprehensive permit, the planning director is monitoring to ensure that all of those conditions are met. Temporary disinfection is still on schedule and expected to start mid-month. We are awaiting a revised incorporating edits report from Ty and Bond, and we're going to be holding a status meeting next week. Under good news, the Forbush Culvert property owner has agreed to grant a temporary as well as permanent easements so the design and funding and the further work can proceed. One heads up for the select board is that there may be a potential warrant article. We could have it be a general easement acceptance warrant article, allowing the select board to accept easements for roads or drainage or sewer. The National Grid responded to our request for a light, and unfortunately, that pole is too short. So the DPW director is exploring additional post lights similar to the lighting that that currently exists at the roundabout, and we will find out the associated pricing. On staffing and operations, the police department will be posting shortly for a full-time patrol officer. Neshoba Valley Regional Dispatch, the fourth arm of our public safety response, will be holding an all boards meeting all their operations board, their finance board, as well as their admin at the public safety building. And I've shared their annual report with the select board under separate cover. We continue to make progress on a state community compact grant for GIS, which has cleaned up the layers of existing multiple data sets from, say, the MVP plan or the open space and recreation plan, as well as private libraries. And the goal of this is to incorporate additional information either available on Mass GIS or other specialized sites, and have a product that can be used both in the field, i.e. inspectors or conservation, as well as, being a dedicated resource that can be shared across town departments. For residents who are interested, the Park and Rec summer camp and swimming lessons are open for registration. And per the board's earlier request, the commission has confirmed that they will be coming to the board at the next meeting for an update on their summer plans. We continue working, and we, in a very broad sense, it's Jenny who's doing all of this work. The website transition is slated for mid-January, or excuse me, mid-February. But we're finding the vendor tricky. We're appreciative, though. We've had some volunteer efforts, notably with Don Cole, to get us to this point. Under good news, Conservation was awarded a Freedom's Way grant to support their pop-up arboreta project recently, and they're also planning on installing more tree signage. I had the monthly meeting with NRSD and my other two colleagues. They likewise are awaiting their final health insurance increase. They assisted me because I was reviewing their capital requests and wanting to know what their top priority is, and they assisted with that, as well as we discussed moving to codifying the existing wastewater treatment fund operations and maintenance contract that has been split since inception at 85 school, 15 town, and now we'll just put it to paper. Committee-wise, advisory continues moving along. There was a preview of the planning board articles at the last advisory meeting, as well as a short discussion of the revenue scenarios and some of my preliminary capital recommendations. The Elderly Disabled Taxation Aid Fund had stopped in today, or at least the chair had stopped in today following their meeting, and wanted to relay again that application for tax relief is available. Residents are encouraged to apply. I'm trying to get the word out. Few upcoming dates of note, nothing new there, with the exception of noting that next Wednesday is the second budget update that Neshoba will be providing to their school committee. Although it seems like last Friday was a long time ago, the governor's budget was released. You may have heard about her very positive revenue spin. It's approximately $1.9 billion greater than the fiscal 26 budget. Unfortunately, when that translates to Bolton, we look at receiving an additional $7,000 in receipts, with an additional $1,000 in charges. So we'll be getting $6,000 more. On health insurance, we're still awaiting our specific increased numbers that are tailored to our own claims experience. They had announced their average increase last Friday at the Mass Municipal Association conference, which they're stating is 8.3. You remember in prior years, we received the average plan increase, and some of that was, well, all of it was because we did not yet have a claims history with them. So our increase will be somewhere between the 2.9 and the 14.4%. Within our working fiscal 27 budget, though, we are carrying 15%. We know it's conservative. We'd rather have it be too high than too low.
Marie, do we know when we expect that information?
They had stated it would be in the second week of February. I certainly hope it arrives before Tuesday because I'm presenting part of the benefits budget to advisory. And likewise, I'm aware that this will have a big impact on Neshoba's numbers that they'll be presenting on Wednesday. But
Will they get theirs? Will the school district get theirs at the same time we get ours? Do they all come out at the same time?
no, we have two different reps. But they're when I had spoken with the superintendent earlier, they, as of like 3 hours ago, hadn't received their numbers either. So we're all waiting.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd made my first pass recommendations to advisory, and I've shared that with the board. The most pressing issue for capital for the district is the prioritization of the door replacements. Mainly, well, not mainly, there are multiple reasons why. One of them is to just secure the site and for, you know, site safety, security. The second being that the doors are pretty much rusted. I've seen horrific pictures during the last snow of snow on the interior of the doors at the base. And the other component of my first pass recommendation was to see, if need be, how to extract capital items and projects from our fiscal 27 budget. I wanted to just draw the board's attention that our current working budget, it does include more requests than can be supported at this time by recurring revenues. We've evaluated a portion of these requests are optional or one-time or of limited duration. None of this is in reference to anything affecting staffing, but items. And there will be opportunities to remove or defer certain items. Also realize it's true, we don't know the regional district's operating increase, but as the advisory chair had stated earlier this week, the working budget does not wholly reflect the tax impact, positive tax impact of the Alton Neshoba development. And that's all I have.
Well, thank you very much. And also, I'd just like to say thank you for all of the work that went into managing the emergency situation at the library this week. I know it took a big chunk of your work week to navigate through that situation. So thank you.
Kate, I have a quick question on that, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Marie, it doesn't sound like the library boiler will affect the disinfectant.
No,
It won't.
but
Okay.
separate, yep.
All right. Any other questions for Marie?
One other one. It looks like in here that the capital request from the school, the partial switches, they're not asking for.
They're asking for the full. One component of the switches is that the school is eligible for a reimbursement called E-rate. The tricky hurdle is that the school, you know, applies and then it receives funds back. What I want is a quote that says, "Here's the quote reflecting the discount already."
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. And on that similar vein, Marie, I remember you had said at one point that there was a grant possibility for doors and other envelope issues.
Yeah.
Would the school doors be part of that potential grant or?
If that had been something, the school is more than willing to explore the MSB's accelerated repair program, which could cover doors, but the doors, at this point, the doors are not secure. So after further discussion, my priority is doors likewise. It's open and shut. Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see, we're still, we're just a few minutes early. So let's circle back and do public comment. I know we're a couple minutes ahead of public comment, but if there's anyone here from the public who has anything that they want to say, this is your chance. Please raise your hand. I see Matt Bosley. Go ahead.
Hi, Kate. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
If you notice a brief costume change coming to you live from my truck, I ran out to the gym, and on my way, I remembered I failed to mention one of the things that the committee wanted to recommend to the select board was to have a process for input from the department to have some level of involvement. So we did the survey. It would also be a recommendation from the committee to have the finalists meet with the police department in some sort of structured forum, be it a town hall, be it a Q&A, something that I would encourage the select board to work with the town administrator and the executive assistant on to schedule to try to get some sort of feedback. We did receive some really positive responses that helped formulate our questions as a search committee, and I want to keep that recommend that we keep that momentum going.
Okay, thanks, Matt. I appreciate that. Okay, is there anyone else here for public comment? Okay, I'm not seeing any other hands raised. So we will move on to select board business. I do not have any public service announcements. Bill, do you have anything?
I do not.
All right, and similarly, I have no select board reports. Bill?
I do not.
Okay, any future agenda items?
No.
Okay. All right, so the next item is review and approval of the select board annual report. Bill, have you had an opportunity to review the most recent draft that Jenny sent this evening?
Yes, I did.
Okay, Jenny, are you able to pull that up? Okay. Did you have any comments, Bill? Any revisions? Anything,
No,
additions?
no, it looks good to me.
Okay, you didn't catch any typos?
I don't think I did, but I'm not the best proofreader, so.
Okay, so I guess what I'd like to do at this point is, yeah, would take a motion to, accept the annual report as written, but subject to formatting and those sorts of things. For example, I think we'll need to put in an updated picture. And I know there might be some formatting issues here and there. So is there a motion to approve the select board annual report subject to minor formatting revisions?
So moved.
All right, and I will second that. Roll call, Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. All right. Thank you to Marie and for Jenny for their input on this and for their help with getting it drafted, since I did not know what I was doing on this first go round. Okay, and moving right along, the next item is the calling of the Citizens Caucus. Marie, did you have a list of positions that I'm supposed to announce for this? You're muted.
Me saying, let me pull my packet. 1 second.
I was not provided one by the clerk's office. I only have the document for signing to call the caucus.
Okay. All right, so just so the general public knows, this is the Citizens Caucus where we nominate individuals to elected positions in the town. People can get nominated at the caucus. If I remember correctly, up to 2 people can be nominated at the caucus, but anyone can take out papers as long as they go through the process required with the packet supplied by the town clerk's office. You need to get a certain number of signatures, and then you also will appear on the ballot. My other computer just died, so I now no longer know what the agenda says for the rest of the night, so you guys will have to bear with me. So I can do it from my phone. So the Citizens Caucus is scheduled for Monday, March 2nd, 2026 at 7 p.m. As usual, it is scheduled for the meeting room at the public library. Since this is about 4 weeks out, we do anticipate and hope that the public meeting room and the library are open at that time. So we're going to call the Citizens Caucus on the presumption that the meeting room will be available. But if we do need to change that, we will go through whatever legal procedure is required to change the location of the caucus. So that being said, is there a motion to call the Citizens Caucus for Monday, March 2nd, 2026 at 7 p.m. to nominate town officers?
So moved.
And I will second that. Roll call, Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. So following the nominations, the elections will be held, what is it, the second Monday of May, Jenny? Does that sound about right?
It's the first Monday in May.
The first Monday in May.
The elections.
Oh,
Elections,
sorry. The
Election.
election is the
Second.
second Monday in May.
all right. Okay,
And Kate, it might be helpful just to let the public know, because there was some confusion, I know, at least last year and probably in years past, that anyone wishing to run should bring someone with them who would make the nomination. Typically, anyone in the room will make a second, but I know in the past people have attended and not brought someone with them, and therefore were not nominated appropriately.
okay, so come to caucus and bring a friend.
Exactly.
At least one.
Mhm.
All right. Moving towards the end, the next item on the agenda is to approve bills and payroll. Is there a motion to approve bills and payroll warrant W26-16?
So moved.
And I am the second. Roll call, Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. And last but not least on the regular agenda is approval of minutes. Jenny, do you want to run through? I think we just have one set of regular minutes to approve. Is that right? From January?
Yes, and there were no changes. And that was for January 8th, 2026.
All right. Is there a motion to approve the regular minutes of January 8th, 2026?
So moved.
And I will second that. Roll call, Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. And now I'm going to read the teeny tiny font on my phone. and ask if there is a motion to enter into executive session pursuant to General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, Purpose 3, to conduct strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation with police union, Local 286, Massachusetts Coalition of Police, IUPA, AFL-CIO, as I declare that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the town. And also for purpose 2, to accept minutes.
So moved.
And I will second that. Roll call, Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. We will return to open session at the conclusion of executive session for the purpose of adjournment only. And the time for the record is 7:41.